Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the IronSquid round of 8, the last show before the grand final event in Le Grand Rex. That was probably terrible. My français is, c'est pas mal at best. My name is Total Biscuit.
And I'm Nestea!
You're not really Nestea, you're an imposter, by the way.
That's right, I'm English, I'm not Korean. My name's The Apollo.
He's highly delusional, ladies and gentlemen. It's just the way of it.
That's right, Nestea is playing today. I'm pretty excited for this. Nestea versus Jjakji is our first game, and I'm Nestea!
Yes. You remind me that there's a game called Gotham City Imposters. There's a voice set you could pick in that game called Delusional. And all that guy says is, I'm Batman, over and over again. You are the StarCraft equivalent of just that.
That's exactly right. I'm Nestea!
Well, I can't blame you. You're in the presence of a god. So I suppose that makes sense considering. Nestea will be playing. He is in the building, as it were. In spirit, of course. And he will be playing against Jjakji for the chance to go to the grand finals in Paris, the round of 4. And then, of course, we have the upstart, TSL's Hope Symbol, up against somebody that's been crushing Face for the past couple of months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the true test
Indeed.
for Symbol. I mean, he's scraped through the group stages. And, you know, this is it. This is his peak of his career today. If he manages to beat Marine King Prime, that's it. That's the best he's done. Even though he just recently qualified back into Code A round of 48, this is by far the biggest game he's had to play in StarCraft 2.
Exactly. And if he won that, oh my, it's a career-defining moment if he's able to do that. We said it before. If he can get out of the groups, he's got a real shot at winning the whole thing, and he was able to do just that thanks to the help of the evil genius Idra and his 2-0 defeat of MVP in that group. Whew, yes.
Yeah, when I said that, I was like, alright, yeah, you can do it. And then I'm like, oh man, Marine King Prime. God damn it. Why did I say that?
It's like, damn, this is really tough. A few months ago, we might have said, oh, Marine King Prime, okay, that's going to be pretty tough. Now it's like, oh god, Marine King Prime. As in, this guy is very difficult to beat.
Yeah, this guy is, you know, a champion. He's young, he just understands how to play the game. He's fast, he's multitasking heavy. There's, you know, almost no way to really stop him, even though he's lost games here and there. This guy is, you know, one of the best, if not the best, StarCraft 2 player in the world right now.
He's scary, and he's absolutely terrifying. At the moment, he just seems unbeatable. He really does. It's crazy just how good he is.
Yeah, it's so good. I mean, there's like no weaknesses really. I mean, he's, you know, incredible versus Protoss. He's got a great Terran versus Terran. And then he's, you know, relentlessly aggressive against Zerg and never gives them any room to breathe. So it's going to be pretty amazing to see him play once again here today.
There's no real question about that, I can tell you. Ooh. Well, we do have some time to kill, ladies and gentlemen, since we are waiting on the French. They've got all sorts of crazy stuff going on over on their stream. They've got the high-tech stuff, they've got their studio. I believe they're actually under the sea right now.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
They got anchored down.
Essentially,
north.
that's.
Well, where would they be though? Would they be in the channel, or would they be slightly, you know?
They might be in the channel. They could be in Rapture. I think they're casting directly from inside of Rapture. But if they were to do that, I don't know. It seems like a fairly dangerous and risky place to do it. But it would be quite exciting, I have to say. So we do have some time to kill. We're going to talk about the matchups that we've got going on. Last show we talked in great detail about the groups, great detail about how things ended up. But we also have some highlight clips to show you of the 4 players that will be playing today. It's probably a good idea that we get started by looking at the first matchup that we're going to be going into, which will be New Star Hoso's Jjakji versus Nestea. And there you go, folks. A look at Jjakji's performance throughout this group stage. But now he's going to be facing up against the toughest challenger he's had thus far. And Apollo's disappeared.
I'm here. I'm here. I thought you were just going to go straight into it.
No.
I didn't want to be rude and cut across.
Let's chill
All right,
out,
Jjakji,
relax, and talk Jjakji.
Jjakji, I mean, that kind of highlight reel there, as we kind of saw, was just displayed all of his strengths in that, 1 minute 30 video, whatever that length was. I mean, his positional play, his ability to micro, and his splitting of units, his decision making as well, when to pull SCVs, when to engage, when to move, and reposition, and that really did show why he is one of the better Terrans in Korea. And like you said, he is up against a very difficult challenge here today, 3 times GSL champion Nestea. But Jjakji, man, if anybody's gonna beat Nestea down, this is probably the only guy left that can do it.
Yeah, I would think so at this stage, and we did see him perform against the Zerg player in his group. He ended up, in fact, going up against 2 Zerg players. He really did crush Stefano, one has to say.
Yeah, he made that look incredibly easy, and it was just a very simple little strategy that he had deployed there against Stefano. Just, contain Stefano on 2 bases while taking his own 3rd, and then into that macro mode of multiple barracks, double engineering bay, and Stefano could never climb back up from being so far behind. And the big difference there is that Nestea's not going to fall victim to such small, simple strategies here, so he will definitely have to change his overall game plan. But the real key strength that Jjakji has right now is that he was one of the players that forced Zerg players to stop using Mutalisk because of his awesome defense, his positioning, and his ability to macro and defend so well, and I just automatically put the Zerg player behind. And the kind of weakness you could say from Nestea is that he still plays the old style of Mutalisk heavy, Ling, Bailey, Mutalisk heavy. But if Jjakji's the reason why Zerg players moved away from that, then he's clearly got a statement here tonight.
I would certainly think so, but he is going to be going up against someone who is considered to be the best Zerg player in the world, and has taken a couple of knocks lately, but continues to win game after game after game. He is considered to be the god of Zerg by many people. He is Artosis' favourite player. He's, by the sounds of it, one of your favourite players as well, unless you like to scream his name for no apparent reason.
Yeah, I do it in the night a lot. I wake up and say, I'm Nestea!
Well, Evelyn would be rather upset about that by the sounds of it, but we all have to deal with what we have to deal with, especially when it comes to Nestea, and a true StarCraft fan would be understanding. So let's take a look at some of Nestea's greatest moments in this particular tournament. Oh my, yes, the mighty Nestea. I don't really know if you can fit his best moments into a 2-minute clip, but they tried, and for the most part they succeeded.
Yeah, they did, but this guy's undefeated in this tournament. Hasn't dropped a game yet. Has dropped maps here and there, but it's still Nestea, and especially when loser picks, that often does happen. Nestea, probably, you know, the favorite to take the entire of the tournament here. Jjakji is standing in his way, but we saw his complete dominance there in that highlight clip. Absolutely smashing through alive there, and of course Nestea, a triple Code S champion. This guy, an incredible man. You know, BlizzCon second place, MLG winter qualifier as well, and this guy is just amazing.
Yeah, unbelievably so. I mean, his best matchup is TvZ. He has an ungodly win rate in that particular matchup, above 80%, which in itself is effectively unheard of, especially considering how, one, volatile that matchup is, and two, how volatile StarCraft 2 is at the moment. You just don't get that rate of consistency from anybody else.
Yeah, and even though, you know, he has had a little bit of struggle against him recently, he's still one of the most dangerous Zerg players out there. He's so scary. It almost feels like he understands the game better than any other Zerg player there is.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I guess the only really comparison to that is probably Dongray Gu and Stefano. But Nestea is just, his decision-making wins games alone. That's the craziest thing. He'd look at a situation and in a split second understand what the best case scenario is for him to come out ahead, and he always gets it right, and he never makes mistakes. So that's something that he will have to test today against Jjakji. You know, when he sees 5 tanks and 20 Marines coming at him, does he A, attack into it? Does he B, counterattack? Does he flank? And all these decisions run through his head, and like we said, you know, always hits that right decision.
He certainly seems to. You don't see him making major errors in judgment, honestly. But there are always doubts, especially considering the losses he has taken now in the GSL. I mean, bear in mind, this was the guy that has won GSL 3 times. Not only that, but went through a GSL without dropping a single series. He obliterated the entire thing. But now, well, we've seen him fall down to Code A. We've seen him lose to players that you really wouldn't think would be able to pull that off. Is that dominance starting to wear away, one has to wonder? Is he not moving with the times? Is he not moving with the metagame? Well, we'll find out, certainly, in the series that will be coming up in about 10 minutes' time. Of course, the best of 5 between Nestea and Jjakji. Now,
oh man, it's gonna be so good.
it is, man. I just want to cast it now, man. I want to start. But no, we shall be patient. Good things come to those who wait. It also gives us a little bit of a chance to talk about the other matchup today, which is also absolutely astonishing. Because we've got the up-and-comer, goes by the name of Symbol, qualified 2nd in his group, only got through, really, as a result of the match between Idra and MVP. Idra 2-0 MVP, which puts Symbol in a position to advance. Symbol qualified through in the first IronSquid qualifier out of 2. Beat a hell of a lot of great players, including his own teammates, 2 of his own teammates, if I recall correctly, TSL Shine in the final and TSL Pult in the quarterfinal. And managed to make it through his group, but now has got to face up against, oh man, yeah, Marine King Prime, the guy who obliterated Group A.
Yeah, this is, like we said at the intro, this is his biggest challenge yet in StarCraft 2. He was a former Brood War pro gamer, B team, so same level as Idra, but he was on the same team as Jaedong, back in the former team of Hwasong Oz. So this guy is such a fabulous Zerg player to watch. He just is so aggressive and has so many little cute maneuvers, such as, you know, borrowed banelings, funky aggression, and things that don't really seem like they will work, yet he pulls it off. And he managed to pick up wins just by incredible play. And he also has shown us that he will go toe-to-toe in a straight-up macro fight, as we saw him beat Idra and slap him down 2-0 in the group stages of this tournament. I mean, he went toe-to-toe. He was equal to everything Idra done, and everything Idra pulled out. And Idra, as everybody knows, is once he goes past the 10-minute mark in any kind of game, you know, he just goes on, you know, gets on a rapid roll of macro, doesn't miss Larvendrex, doesn't miss unit production, doesn't, you know, miss overloads or anything. And Symbol showed us that he can easily do that as well, but then adds his own little twist in, you know, with Nidus Worms and so on. And yeah, that's the perfect way to describe him.
That is pretty much him.
Swagger.
Yes, he does. Ain't nobody got swag like him. Well, we're going to have a look at his moments that brought him up to this stage in the tournament. So, here we go. Unfortunately, this video file seems to be having a few problems, so... Oh god. We're gonna have to quit out of that, sadly. Not sure why that's having issues, but it is, so we can't watch that. So we'll have to tell you what Symbol did. Unbelievable things, I've got to say.
Yeah, I mean, I can basically summarize that video, man. You know, we talked about bored Banelings, engaging with Ling and Baneling, and then borrowing Banelings while engaging. And it's so difficult for a Terran player to identify that, and then he'll pull back, and you just blow up and die and everything. And like we said, Nidus Worms, and just overall crazy aggressive play overall. And he's just a fantastic player to watch. And I remember we casted him in the qualifiers for the IronSquid itself, and I was like, this guy's got talent, man. This guy could go really, really far, especially because he was a Brood War player too. And even though a B team, even though he didn't have the best results in Brood War, it still shows us that he has an amazing amount of talent here. And going this far in IronSquid is a great feat, but Marine King Prime, it's not going to be easy.
No, it isn't. It really isn't, especially not with his form. And the funny thing is that this form's been continuing for a number of months. This tournament's been going on for a little while, and some of the replays that we saw were in fact quite old, but Marine King was still showing an astonishing form, which, as far as I'm concerned, by now has only gotten better.
Yeah, it has. It keeps on getting better. It really, really does. And you know, I don't even know what's next for Marine King. Will he continue to win championships? Does he, you know, burst down and just break down and start to lose everything? It's going to be something to follow in the next coming months. But one thing's for sure, he is still on fire at this moment.
He is. So let's take a look at what he's been doing in this particular tournament. Oh my, oh my. So Symbol has to go up against this guy. Scary, incredibly scary. The question is, Apollo, let's have a little bit of a think. Let's have a bit of a prediction. How do you see Symbol beating Marine King Prime in his current form?
I really don't know. I mean, maybe some little funky strategies we talked about, something that may catch Marine King off guard. If he goes toe-to-toe, it may become very difficult for him, especially if Marine King gets into rhythm. So thinking from maybe just trying to get Marine King kind of, what's the correct word to kind of think about? Just kind of get him off guard a little bit, you know, catch him and really put it to him and make Marine King think about it a little bit. Because if Marine King comes in, plays a 30-minute game, and he'll be like, yeah, time to own, and it'll just go 3-0. So if we see Symbol go in and be like, no, this is how we're going to play this series, you know, something like that, and that may put Marine King on the back foot where Marine King will no longer be the one controlling the series. I think that's kind of the only way that Symbol can win, because anything else, we've seen Marine King dominate against not just a race, but against any race and against the best of any race. You know, like he beat Potting, he beat Bomber, he beat Squirtle, he beat Curious. It doesn't matter who. You know, he's beaten everybody recently, and this guy is just out of control.
Yes, indeed. So I suppose the advantage, the edge that Symbol's got going into this is that Marine King Prime doesn't know Symbol as well as Symbol knows Marine King Prime. So perhaps he's got an edge in that regard.
Yeah, sure. I guess they may have played a little bit on the ladder against each other, because obviously they've both been, you know, top Grandmaster League players in Korea. But in terms of, you know, official tournaments, they've never played against each other properly. And it's interesting to see, and I say it every tournament I go to, every international tournament, is that we have, of course, Code S level player versus a player who's struggling to even get and stay into Code A.
Yeah. So does it matter that much? I guess this is where it gets put to the test, isn't it? How big a difference is there between Code S, Code A, and of course the mythical Code B? How big a talent gap will we see in the Korean scene? We are going to get that tonight. But before we see that, we're going to be dealing with Jjakji versus Nestea. Code S champions clashing right here for your entertainment in a best of 5. And the first map is actually going to be Calm Before the Storm.
Wow, I didn't even know this map was still in the map pool. I keep forgetting having casted so many tournaments, but it's a great map here for Jjakji, who has shown excellent results on here as well, especially against Zerg players.
Indeed. So, Apollo, are you ready to get started?
Yes.
Fantastic. I too am prepared. So let's make it happen. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this series between New Star host Jjakji. He is in the blue trunks and he is playing Terran to the northeast of the Calm Before the Storm versus his opponent 5,000 miles away on the other side, cross position. It is Nestea. He is in the blue trunks playing Zerg to the southwest.
And Calm Before the Storm is, you know, one of the biggest maps there is out of everything. And there's a reason why it was taken away from tournaments, because it is a little bit too big. It is a little bit boring, as, you know, both players will just play a very macro style. There's hardly any way to put pressure on your opponent, especially cross position here. So I would not be surprised, you know, Jjakji's just gone command center first. There's nothing. Even if a 6 pulls to come out, the fastest aggression from Zerg, Jjakji's going to easily be able to defend it.
Yeah. So those of you who like the lengthy games, who like the epic macro games, well, you're in here for a while by the looks of it, as are we. So I would be surprised to see this end very, very early. It is a curious choice, of course, for the start, but it is in the map pool. I think we've only ever seen it deployed one other time in this entire tournament.
Yes, I think so too. Maybe a second, but hardly any at all. I mean, everybody kind of vetoes this map because they don't, you know, practice it that often. It's not really in any other tournament either, so we'll see. But there's that command center first coming down for Jjakji, and likewise, you know, hatchery first, of course, here for Nestea. The question is Nestea going to play this 2-base muta style on this map? Is he going to, you know, maybe opt for a faster third base and a later muta play or a later Ling heavy play? That's what we're going to have to see what Nestea's going to do. And actually, he's going to go 3 hatch before spawning pool. Nestea!
Is he actually going to do that? Wow. Well, let's keep an eye on that and see that going on, but, well, no spawning pool down as of yet. At the end of the day, I guess, why not? If you can pull it off, you might as well give it a shot.
Yeah, definitely. And this is going to play really well, though, everything he's doing here. Of course, I mean, likewise, we said about how Jjakji can defend 6 pools at the same time. What's Nestea really going to be afraid of? And this is going to be so good because as soon as that spawning pool finishes, immediately 3 queens, his actual production and his ability to saturate these 3 bases, it's going to be done like
massive.
Way before like 8 minutes. It's just going to be so incredibly, you know, economy heavy here.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jjakji takes his pocket expansion at the back, nice and safe. I'm just thinking about this Mutalisk style, actually. It's not the best map to play it on. I mean, it is a large map, so mobility is very important, certainly, but you've got these really nasty edges around the main in particular, and actually, to some degree, on the natural as well. It's difficult to escape as a Muta player, and in fact, I'm pretty sure that we saw in this very tournament, it may have even been Symbol or possibly Life go for Mutalisk style on this map, and it did get murdered on that natural as a result of how awkward it can be to get out.
That's true, and especially if Jjakji's going to go for an early 3rd command center, which he really should be doing on this map, is that Mutalisks aren't ever really going to be able to penetrate fast enough.
Yeah.
But we aren't seeing a 3rd command center coming down, weirdly, for Jjakji, who looks like he will be intending to go for barracks here, as he's saving the money towards that. But Nestea, like you said, I guess the best style, especially a big open map like this, would be that Ling Heavy Infester style of play.
Yeah, we'll see what ends up happening there quite shortly, no doubt. Ling Infester on this map, absolutely fantastic, needless to say. Some run-by potential onto the 3rd, not maybe as much as you might like, because it's a little bit tight around there if you start to get siege tanks deployed. But Zerg just tend to go crazy on this map, and I can just see Nestea going to a stupid number of bases. I don't see him staying on 3 if he gets the opportunity, especially if he sees that his opponent is going to go for another command center. He's not put that down just yet. He's adding on a few more barracks here. He's going to add on a bunch of Hellions. Admittedly, there's not a lot of... He can't really contain the creep spread on this map. You know, going for... That's why he went CC first more so than anything. He can't do a Hellion expand. There's no point. The creep is already pushing forward here for Nestea, and this back expansion is untouchable.
Yeah, and it's really interesting that, you know, we're not actually seeing a 4th command center. I mean, 3rd command center. We're just seeing this very heavy, you know, straight to a lot of units fast here by Jjakji. Yeah,
intriguing, isn't it? You'd think, oh, you know, let's push it to 3, and then Nestea has to take a 4th, and then we use our Hellions to deny the creep spread to the 4th and start to harass it. But no. No, we're just going to see pressure. And I guess he is a little bit concerned about the possibility of Nestea going crazy with drones, which is, to be fair, already happening. There are 4 queens out. Creep spread is already running really nicely. And he's not going to get into the main. His only real opportunity for harassment here is on the natural at the moment. He does have a start port coming up, so he may attempt to actually drop that back pocket expansion.
Yeah, that's interesting. I guess that's the kind of only entry he can have to get anywhere here, because you know, he's spine crawls on the front with 4 queens and creep spread already getting itself out there. He can't really run by at all.
Yeah, well, Nestea's got vision of that. He saw the starport, and he must be expecting a drop at some point. Does have another overlord there just to keep an eye on things, to keep an eye on the gas on the natural. So he's like, all right, well, you haven't taken 4 gas yet. Looks like you're probably going to go for some kind of Marine Hellion drop, and the response is he starts his lair, and he gets his Baneling nest as well, so that he can shut that down nice and quick once it comes his way.
Yeah, Baneling nest is an awesome decision, of course, just in case anything funky was to come out, because not only is it far away in terms of positions, but it's also very difficult for Nestea to scout what's going on. He does know that there is no 3rd command center down yet, so he's expecting something coming from Jjakji.
Indeed. Double Evolution Chamber to follow this one up here for Nestea, so he does have that awesome option to go with Ling Infester. He's actually taken 6 gas here, though. I have to wonder if he even decides to add some Mutalisks in here one way or the other. We'll find out very shortly once the lair completes, but Jjakji's army starting to look a little bit intimidating. He has a lot of drop potential here. Banelings are being constructed by Nestea, though. He knows that this back expansion is vulnerable to this kind of drop, and he's well prepared for it.
He is indeed, and oh, Jjakji though, where's he going to go with this?
He's going to push straight forward, actually. He catches a Spine Crawler undeployed, and that is a lot of firepower he can bring down there. The Spine Crawlers aren't that effective against that many Marines, so he does a little bit of damage, but he is on creep, which is dangerous here. Let's see how good his control is. Oh my god! That Baneling detonation was awful. It really was, and Jjakji got an absolutely fantastic focus fire on that. Does he have enough Marines to actually do anything else? That's a good question. I don't think so. There's a lot more Lings coming in, but he can shut down an Evo chamber.
Yeah. Oh, he can kill the upgrades, which is pretty sick, but he's not going to get the second one here, and he has to pick up and leave, but damage was done there for very little investment from Jjakji, who has fallen behind on a third command center, is getting his, trademark double engineering base, who is upgrading and will be pushing so incredibly far forward. And even though a single evolution chamber snipe doesn't seem like the biggest thing in the world, when you are actually going for 2 engineering bases yourself and you kill a Zerg evolution chamber, that's actually pretty sick. But we do see a spire coming down, anyway, so we are going to be seeing Mulus come out, even though it wouldn't have really seemed like it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I have to wonder if that was a decision that was made as a result of the loss of that evolution chamber. It's like, well, I want to go double evolution chamber style, but, well, I've just lost an Evo chamber. My upgrades are behind here. Maybe I can try a funky little transition. And at the moment, the Marine count is extremely high. We've even got a couple of Vikings coming out, and by the looks of it, just a straight-up swap to Marine tank here from Jjakji.
Yeah, Jjakji always does that. As soon as he takes the third base, he just starts his tank production. I mean, there's only so much you can rely, or so much time you can rely on without tanks here. And we do actually see that, quite a squad of Marines are out here once again. How many Banelings are there, though? That is the question. 7 Banelings, though. Not really in position ready to deal with this, but there is a lot of Mulus on the way. 16, oh my god, that's a lot of gas early for Nestea.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, he's picked up that 6 gas so early, that's why I was wondering, well, is he going to build a ton of Infestors? Or no, he's actually going to go for those Mutas as well. And Nestea's expansion not going to happen there. Drone gunned down for the time being. And the question is, how does Nestea deal with this? Well, he's adding on more Banelings here, and he does have the Baneling speed as well. But his last engagement wasn't so great. The Baneling speed will help him out an awful lot this time around. But Jjakji's already going to back off. Doesn't want to be caught out of position there. He's going to finish off the cleanup, and Nestea's going to take his 4th.
Yeah, Jjakji didn't really want to go in there because he saw there was no 4th base. He's like, well, why do I need to attack and risk everything if I have 3 bases already? Yeah. And my opponent does also. And plus, his 1-1 wasn't really finished. But Nestea is looking for an angle here. It looks like he's just going to go down, protect his 4th base, but at the same time is going to go in with a Mulus. But that opens up such a big open area for Jjakji.
Yeah, the question is, will he be able to hold on with Banelings? That's the most crucial thing. If he can get the good connect on the Banelings, tanks start to deploy. Not a huge number of tanks. Let's see how good that focus fire is. Jjakji splitting unbelievably well here. Wow, Jjakji, an incredible split there. In the meantime, these Mutalisks have been gutting the pocket expansion, but that was a lot of Banelings thrown around for not an awful lot of gain, and Jjakji now pushing himself forward, getting into a fantastic position.
Oh, Nestea snipes the 3rd command center, though, of Jjakji, so he can actually just come back and try to hold on with these Mulus. Now, that's a big, big blow to Jjakji's economy, but Jjakji is still pressuring, but Banelings are getting quite heavily up now. I don't know if he can hold this position, Jjakji.
Well, we'll see. His tanks are a little bit far back. That's the problem. So perhaps he's overextending himself, but he's going to go and take that natural hatchery down. In fact, that's a macro, never mind. But he continues to push forward, now backing off. The Mutalisks come around the back and take out the tanks in the process. And now the Banelings come for the follow-up. Jjakji looking for the split. Jjakji's splits are incredible this game.
Oh man, that so went in favor of Nestea, and that's the decision making we talked about, how he now has killed a 3rd base and killed off the army of Jjakji, though Jjakji's stimming a few units to try to save the medivacs and does save 2, but there's so many Banelings behind this.
Well, here they come once again, and will he be able to get a good connection? Well, Jjakji unable to split at that time, and finally Nestea able to roll over that army entirely, and Jjakji did get a really good push there. Nestea's had to spend an awful lot of resources to make that work, but as you accurately pointed out, the 3rd went down for Jjakji, which crippled his economy, and the 4th is now operational for Nestea without the natural actually being destroyed. So this is the kind of time where Nestea can really start to pump it out, get his lava count up very, very high. He's on 89 drones. Things are starting to look a bit grim for Jjakji.
And I don't even think Nestea's going to tech up to Hive here or, you know, Infestation Pit. I feel like he's just going to make a lot of units and just overproduce his opponent who knows, and Nestea knows he's very crippled here, especially if he can start and still slow his opponent down with the remaining Mutalisks.
Indeed. He has a few opportunities here and there, but it's a bit dangerous. He doesn't want to lose those Mutas right now. He hasn't got his transition sorted out just yet. Got +2 melee coming in. We could see that Broodlord transition following up there. It's fairly logical, especially if he's grabbing Zerg Flyer attack too. Almost certainly going to be going to Broodlords. Viking coming around, being a little bit of a pain in the ass. We've got this Mutalisk that just doesn't want anything to do with it. His brethren will clean that up. But things are rolling pretty hard now for Nestea. 91 drones pumping resources incredibly hard. Jjakji lagging behind significantly in terms of his income, only at that amount because of 7 mules on the ground.
Yeah, man, that's still, you know, mules do help out, but he isn't building a 4th command center, so he's still stuck on these 3 bases, and Nestea identifies this, and, you know, already making a lot of banelings, and that's the advantage of staying on this kind of mid-tier level, not really going all the way up to Hive, is that it's such a big map. You need mobility, otherwise you will get swung around like this drop, and if he hadn't continued to produce Mulus, then he could have done, you know, or taken a lot more damage here, but the 4th base is in danger. Where are those banelings so far out of position here?
Yeah, it doesn't have the creep connecting them, which is really not helping matters at all. It's going to take a little bit of time. In fact, he's actually going to flank all the way around, which is incredibly risky, because he'll most likely lose that 4th in the process. Is he actually going to go for a straight-up counter-attack? It looks like he is. Nestea just rolling for it.
Yeah, Nestea's going to just morph banelings at the back to defend his natural, and then just go for the kill at the base, which very well could work here. He has so many units.
He's got a lot of banelings, man, and there's actually only 1 tank at the back there deployed, but Nestea decides he doesn't want to do that. He backs off. He might be able to catch this army out of position, and it should be running right into range there. There's the stim, and Nestea realizes he's got an opportunity here, needs to get behind them, but banelings once again being target fired. Jjakji splits very, very well here. That was incredibly good for Jjakji. Once again, getting a very economical trade.
Oh yeah, man, Marines are really, really good in this situation, and there's not much gas left for Nestea, who's spending it on Mutalisks here once again, and Mutalisks are not good against Marines. He needs banelings, and he only has about 6, 7, a few more morphing behind this, but if Jjakji splits like that again, Nestea's going to be in a lot of trouble.
I think Nestea needs Infestors, if I'm totally honest. It's the splits that have been killing him this entire game. He can't get the baneling connections versus Jjakji, who keeps breaking off so very well. Mutalisk getting torn out of the sky right now as a result of that, and that lack of Infestor is hurting him badly. Jjakji taking full advantage.
Oh, man, Jjakji, especially with the Amenity.
There's the GG, man.
Marines coming in. Oh, Nestea drops the first game.
Well, there you go. I say this is something you mentioned before we started this. You mentioned that Nestea has a tendency to stay on the old Mutalisk style, and it's actually been hurting him. And Jjakji was one of the guys that shut that down so hard in the first place.
Yeah, you know, that's what kind of happened here, and especially, I guess, you know, we talked about his decision-making luck. Maybe it was the wrong decision to go for that natural area with those units, because then, you know, looking at that, there was 2 bunkers, there's a tank behind it, and still a lot of units through. Even if he tried it would have been very cost efficient, and he didn't really expect that many units to be there. And then he lost his 4th base, and then his gas income dropped, and he ran out of options. And then with the Marines being so heavily upgraded because of that slower air, you know, upgrade from the evolution chambers that got sniped so early on, he was actually in a lot of trouble there. But wow, you know, Jjakji, though, you can't take any credit away from him. He played a really, really good game, and he lost his 3rd base, which is incredible, or his natural, I suppose you could say, whichever way you're looking at it. And he came back from that, and that's pretty sick.
It was unbelievably good. Jjakji splits like no one I've ever seen. That is unbelievable. And against someone that can split that well, banelings are not remotely cost efficient. The funny thing is that Jjakji did all of that with a bare minimum of tanks as well. And usually you'd expect, oh, right, well, 4 or 5 tanks, you can target fire those banelings down. He only had 1 or 2. He just had a very large marine count, very heavy upgrades, and incredible splitting. And as a result, you saw, as the game went on, how far Nestea fell behind in terms of cost effectiveness. He was throwing away resources. By the end of that, he was about 10,000 resources behind as a result of all those lost units.
Yeah, Jjakji's control is just crazy, and it always has been, and we saw it in the highlight reel before we even got into this, the amount of splitting he has, and Marine King's probably the more famous player for it, but we clearly was shown here that Jjakji equal to that.
That was a masterclass in splitting as far as I'm concerned, man. That was absolutely astonishing play there by Jjakji. Only slipped up once, and I think Nestea's going to have to adapt at this stage because Baneless and Muta just ain't going to work. I think he's going to have to toss some Infestors in the mix. I don't see any other way around it.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what the next map is and depends what Nestea chooses, but, you know, this playstyle, you know, it has been worked out. You know, there's a reason why people don't really use it anymore. Will Nestea continue going down this, or will he decide to switch it up? It is a best of 5, so that, you know, that potential is there.
It certainly is. We will be finding out after this short commercial break, folks. You're currently watching the IronSquid Round of 8 show, as brought to you by Astro Gaming, Twitch TV, and Asus Republic of Gamers. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this series between new star host Jjakji. He is in the blue trunks, he is playing Terran to the west of the dual site versus his opponent. It is Nestea. He is in the red, and he is playing Zerg to the east.
There's a 12-year difference between these two players. Jjakji being just 17 years old, Nestea approaching 30, currently at 29. That's a lot of years between these guys.
Nestea could actually be Jjakji's dad. There is a possibility of that being the case.
To some extent, I suppose you could make that. That's a very young father. But yeah, it's possible.
It's Korean years, man. They don't count it the same way we do. Jjakji's actually 47 and Nestea's 103.
Yeah, Nestea's pretty damn old, man. And it was amazing to see. It's like when I saw him at Vegas, man, his presence, even though he's, you know, not that old, he did seem old, and he was telling other Koreans what to do all the time like a true boss.
That doesn't surprise me in any way, honestly. He's always seemed that way. I remember there was a great screenshot a while ago, a nice little composite that had Nestea on one side, and he fills that booth, man. And on the other side, 3 of the opposing team, and it was like, it's okay, with the 3 of us, maybe we can beat Nestea.
TV magic, man. The awesome of camera.
Very true.
Dual site though, map number 2. Interesting decision here by Nestea to jump over here, but we do see a very regular build from Jjakji. He's not doing anything funky, he's just going straight barracks, straight refinery, and he's just going to get a factory on a very decent timing here to get those reactor Hellions out. That's something Nestea has to prepare for on this map. There's no ramp on that natural. There's 2 entrances to that natural. You know, Hellions are going to be damn good here. So be it, you know, early roaches, be it excess amounts of spine crawlers, walling in with evolution chambers and so on. Nestea has to be very cautious with how he plays this, but if he does play that early stage right and defends well, then it does become a more difficult map for Terran players because there's so many paths of engagement for Nestea to choose from.
Oh yeah, all sorts of run-by possibilities, and if Nestea picked this map, then he did so for a very, very good reason. Obviously confident about dealing with Jjakji in the early game, and honestly, on Calm Before the Storm, there really isn't an early game. Let's just get that out there and say, well, you know, the first 10 or so minutes of Calm Before the Storm really aren't anything, and I have to wonder what Jjakji will be able to do early on, because obviously, we're going to see the Reactor Hellion opening here. And he'll attempt to deny creep, and maybe get a run by here and there. But after that, where does he go? How does he deal with Nestea? How does he stop Nestea's economy getting out of control?
Yeah, there's actually, from the natural of Jjakji towards the 3rd base of Nestea, it's actually not that far. I mean, if you go up halfway, you can meet at the Zelnaga Tower, and you can hold that Zelnaga Tower, and then, of course, you can just go all the way up to the 3rd base, and that is a pretty awesome position that Terrans do like to use.
Indeed. Jjakji actually is not going Reactor Hellion Expand here. He's adding on 2 more barracks after this.
Ooh, so it looks like we'll be having some Hellion Marauder. You know, that's very, very viable here. That the distance from base to base, again, not even natural to 3rd, from main to main is relatively small here. And there's that first tech lab coming down, and we'll probably see 2 more after that as well. So this may be a bit confusing for Nestea initially, especially with the Overlord positions. Like, the only way he's going to find this out is via Lings. So if he manages to sneak Lings around, maybe, if that is possible, but this actually may go completely unscouted.
And that would be dangerous. Jjakji has deployed this build before to great effect. It is infuriatingly hard to deal with. It's just an absolutely fantastic mix. What do you build to counter it? It's not even a case of, you can't just build a unit to counter it. You can't even build 2 different kinds of units to counter it. You've got to engage well in order to make that work. It goes beyond simple counter to counter. You've got Hellions that deal so well with Lings, and of course you've got Marauders that will destroy Roaches and have that HP for tanking, and they're great for smashing through static defenses. You can deal with almost anything, really, until Mutas come out.
This is interesting. He hasn't gone for Marauders, and he switched over the factory really, really fast here to go for tanks. So it's going to be a very simple tank push here, which can be defeated by pure Lings. And we already see a lot of Lings come out here and gets a surround on the Hellion in the bottom left, and is going towards a natural. And the first thing Nestea's going to see is no command center here. And already he has to be thinking, what the hell is going on? And, you know, he immediately throws down an evolution chamber. He's like, oh, Jjakji, what are you trying to do to me here? And there's still a lot of options but will he be able to piece together the right option that Jjakji's chosen?
That's the annoying thing, isn't it? Where could a Terran go from here? This could be Cloak Banshee. This could be Hellion Drop. This could be all sorts of different things. And Nestea really has no way to find that out at the moment. This Overlord in this position is... It could get in. It would be a big risk to even try, and it's probably not going to see the barracks at the back. Maybe it gets the factory and the tech lab before it gets knocked down by those Marines. There's an Overlord at the back that's actually coming into position here, but just the way that Jjakji's built his base, it's very hard to actually get an Overlord in there and see anything meaningful before you lose your Overlord.
Yeah, he's about to go in there, but like you said, it probably get picked up before it even sees everything. And the really bad thing for Jjakji is Nestea's creep spreading already, and he's pushing it out quite well. And like I said, pure Ling will beat this, and he's already making 10xs Ling, so I'm not too sure how this is going to go down. Does not want to lose Lings. He does see Marine and Tech now, knows exactly what's there. A Baneling Nest is about to finish up. Whether he'll go for Banelings or not, we'll have to see, because remember, there is tanks here, and they are slow Banelings, only with X amount of creep spread. It's not that good, but it's decent. So this is going to be a very tense moment here for Nestea. If he pushes this back and crushes it, then he'll be able to win the game. Yeah,
assuming he does, but this is Jjakji once again with these Marine splits. He's even got SCVs in the mix to buffer a bit of damage as well as repair these tanks. And Nestea's going to have to engage much better than last time, I'll tell you that for a fact, and here he goes. The Banelings don't get in there. The splitting is once again very, very good indeed. There may just be enough. Needs to get one more good detonation, but he doesn't get it, and Jjakji holds very nicely there, loses one tank, so at least he's lacking quite a lot of firepower now, but once again takes a really efficient engagement, whereas Nestea does not.
Yeah, there's no combat shield, there's no stim, and there's a lot of production for Nestea, who has a macro hatch here as well, and as long as he keeps hitting lava injects, he didn't lose the queens, which is the key thing here. He's gonna set up, you know, a really awesome position, and Jjakji really pressuring Nestea here.
He wants him down early on, man. He doesn't want to let this go out of control. Banelings actually go in on the tank this time around, and there is looking to be the cleanup from Nestea. Once again, having to spend a lot to make that happen, but the threat to his base is neutralized, and he didn't take any economic damage. As you pointed out, the queens remain alive, the creep spread remains intact, and he should be able to take a third base very shortly.
Yeah, this is one of the weakest all-ins that Terran can do. Actually, probably the weakest all-in. Maybe Marine SCV is pretty weak, but this is like level 2 weak. And now Nestea's in such a good position where he builds 22 Lings, and now Jjakji can't really take a natural anytime soon, and Nestea can easily expand towards a third base and just kind of take this game in his own stride here, and is morphing Banelings anyway, because he knows that he seriously can't try to play straight up after trying to do that. He's so far behind, and you know, Jjakji knows it, who throws down another command center and just trying to play ultra catch up.
Yeah, double expand. What option do you have at this stage? It's like, well, if your first all-in fails, I suppose you all-in again, but that's not going to happen. So his only other option, really, is to double expand and hope that Nestea doesn't punish him for it. And here's the thing, Nestea's map choice has allowed him every opportunity to punish him for this. Doesn't matter where he expands, he is going to get hammered.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't like the way Jjakji's played out this map. I really think he could have, of course, gone for a much more straight out route. And Nestea's gone layer. You know, he could very easily go into Mulus from here. Probably the best choice too, actually, considering how far his opponent is behind in stim, in combat shields, in upgrades, in anything really, because he's still on one base. Nestea has a lot of units though outside the main base of Jjakji here. I don't think he'll try to bust up, of course, because of the tanks, but I mean, if he tries to take an expansion with few units, if he moves down with those pocket full of units, then Nestea's just going to crush.
Yeah, I don't see Jjakji really surviving anything along those lines. I like the fact that Nestea's playing nice and patiently, because he knows he's got amazing creep spread, his economy's in a good spot, he takes this third base, uncontested, can take a fourth base up to the top, creep's already pretty much there, he's got excellent mobility. This is what he sees on the map. He sees pretty much everything, aside from what's inside his opponent's main. So he's got all sorts of opportunities here, and I like that he's not getting impetuous and giving Jjakji a chance to catch up.
Yeah, he's just playing it very steadily. I mean, it's Nestea's game to lose, and of course, look at the supply, 65 versus 110. So as long as Nestea doesn't just, you know, explode all his Banelings or walk past an army and lose everything, then he's really not going to drop this game. Jjakji is so far behind, who is trying to catch up, has thrown down double engineering bay, but with that investment, he is not attacking anytime soon with double engineering bay down. He's just going to try and slow the game down, bring it back to a level pace. But Nestea at the same time can just, expand again if that's going to be the case. And the Spire, now we have, look at that, 800 gas banked up. That's going to be 9 mules straight away. Is there any turrets anywhere? No, because Jjakji's cutting corners to get back in the game.
Indeed he is, and he has also no idea what his opponent's got at all. Let's check his information. He doesn't know a thing. He's not put a single scan down this entire game, and can you blame him? He's so far behind, he needs every mule he can get.
Yeah, this is not looking so good, unfortunately, for Jjakji, despite winning game number 1 here. Nestea, comfortably taking the 3rd base now, has that 6 gas income, pushing his income roughly to 800 gas, I guess, when all 3 are running efficiently. And he now has got those mules coming, 10 more drones as well. And he can, choose whatever he wants, whether it be Ling, Baneling, Mules, whether it be a 4th base into Hive, it doesn't matter. The key thing here, though, is Nestea will never let a 3rd base be taken by Jjakji. He'll say, good, take 2 bases, but I also know that your main base is almost mined out the way you played this game. When you try to take a 3rd base, good luck.
Yeah, I'm going to shut it down. Look at his creep space. He's almost at the 3rd base on both sides. There is no way in a million years. Jjakji would have to perform some kind of defensive miracle to secure that. Nestea's also taking a 4th up to the top here. And he is playing this so chill. He has no reason whatsoever to throw away units. He's got 71 drones, 16 lava banked up, 9 more mutas on the way. The harassment now begins, and Jjakji's going to be forced to stim. And in fact, he actually has no medivacs at the moment, so these stims are going to start to wear his marines down.
Exactly. I mean, he's just, behind in so many different ways, like the turrets, then the medivacs and the unit count. But slowly he is, established now on 2 bases. He has a good SCV count at 54. But like you said, his main base is almost mined out, and his natural's not too far away either. But what's a lot of banelings?
What's up?
As soon as he unsieges and moves out, goodbye army. That's it. See ya.
Knock. Who's there? Well, Jjakji currently undeployed at the moment. Let's see if we can get a good Baneling detonation here from Nestea, because Jjakji up to this point has defended extremely well against that. But look at the overwhelming numbers that are coming his direction. Great positioning on those tanks, though. Completely out of reach, and actually the way this Sim City is constructed, getting Banelings in there is going to be very difficult.
Yeah, I mean, he never really wants to engage into that. He already picked off 1 tank because of the good positioning in the tanks for the Mulus, but of course bad for the Ling and Baneling, and he's trying to look around again. But like I said, as soon as he unsieges and tries to go for a push, this army's gonna die. The creep spread's sick, the Baneling count is so high, he doesn't even have enough tanks to kill all these Banelings, let alone, win the war.
No, he does not. And +2's about to kick in as well. I can only imagine he's just gonna wait for that, and there it is. There's +2, 41 Banelings, and 116 Lings crashing down on that army. And this is a brute force massacre split against that, says Nestea. And Jjakji takes huge losses right now, and Ling's now ravaging the natural expansion, and no amount of splitting is going to get you out of that.
Yeah, this is, Nestea closing the door on Jjakji. There's no way out. You're going to have to leave, but, oh man, the Mulus, Baneling Lings, his economy, 4 bases, it's just going to be able to rematch the same army he had just minutes ago, and Nestea is now going to go up against a force of 2 tanks and, 20 Marines, really? And Nestea's like, yeah!
Sounds good, man. That seems like the kind of thing that I would like to have if I were Nestea right now. Or we could just morph 26 more Banelings, that would be okay too. And Jjakji's attempted 3rd completely overrun here, almost immediately. And, well, that army doesn't even need the Banelings. Lings is enough here, and Muta's coming down just to seal the deal at the end. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the GG. What an excellent game there by Nestea, and Jjakji with that bizarre all-in, and it really didn't get him anywhere, and unfortunately the end of that game was just the last dying gasps of a failed early aggression attempt.
Yeah, it was like 10 minutes of all-in, 10 minutes of a fish swimming out of water, unfortunately there for Jjakji, and he really was just flapping, gasping. And, that's the difficult thing with an all-in, is if it doesn't work, you will play from behind, and it's almost impossible to recover from as long as your opponent doesn't make mistakes. And at this caliber, in the round of 8 in IronSquid, when we're playing against Nestea? Is he really going to make a mistake that can allow Jjakji to recover? You know, the answer is no, and you know that was clearly displayed.
Yeah, and that was the problem, wasn't it? As soon as that mistake was made, Nestea was left alone for the entire game. Nestea might as well have actually been playing SimCity, because nothing was happening to him. We weren't getting any floods, no fires, no alien space monster, nothing. He gets his economy rolling, he gets the number of bases, the exact composition of units he wants, while Jjakji just sits there because he has no other choice.
I really don't want to see Jjakji try anything like that again, because, you know, it's not going to work. It's never really worked, so... Oh well, we'll have to see.
Yeah, Nestea domination in that game, which takes the series 1 game apiece. And still everything to play for, now down to effectively a best of 3. It'll be Jjakji's map choice. The question is, what is he gonna pick? I think we can find that out, actually. So let's find out what he's gonna pick, since we've got a few minutes to kill before the French are ready to continue our assault on this particular game. Alright. So by the looks of it, Jjakji's actually gonna pick Tal'Darim, another very, very large map.
Good map choice. He's very, very solid on here. He likes to contain Zerg players on those 3 bases and will not allow anything to come out of that once he grabs the Sun Auger between them both. And that's an excellent strategy we've seen him use over and over and over. But, you know, will Nestea sit back and allow that to happen? And the way he played in that last game, I don't think that's gonna happen.
No, I don't think so, honestly. But this should be a much more even game. I don't expect any of this nonsensical all-in stuff from Jjakji at this point. He tried it. He was 1 game up. It didn't work. Alright, time to play straight up now, because we are even, and you've conceded a map to Nestea. Never a good thing under any circumstances.
He's not, and, you know, Nestea's crawled back to a level playing field, and that's, like you said, not where you want to be with Nestea.
Absolutely not. We're going to take a short commercial break, folks. When we come back, Game 3 of Jjakji versus Nestea. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this series between new star Hosos Jjakji. He is in the blue trunks playing Temin to the southwest of Tal'Darim Altar versus his opponent. It's the one and only Nestea. He is in the red trunks playing Zerg to the southeast.
Champions going at it today, of course, GSL champions, and I was looking, and the nicknames that Jjakji have are hilariously funny. I mean, there's like 5 amazing ones. Phantom Terran, which is kind of okay. I mean, the other one is Jjakji Chan.
Lol,
another
really?
one is Jumanji. Another
Seriously?
one is Jacuzzi. And another one is Jarul.
To be fair, if he hadn't picked a name with so many J's in it that was obviously very difficult to pronounce, then this would never have happened.
Those nicknames are hilarious. Jacuzzi. Oh my god. I'm not even sure that's the best one. I really think like
You should start using that.
Chan is hilarious.
Jjakji Chan is pretty good. That's actually very hard to say as well. Jjakji's name actually is almost Welsh. If you just take out those 2 vowels and maybe add a C and an H in there, then you've got a bona fide Welsh name.
Yeah, you would be, and you start spitting everywhere. And well, I actually looking in this game, Nestea, I love it that he's doing this actually on this map. He's actually scouting incredibly early here. And, you know, he goes across the map, of course, because the drone is there. But on this map, you really want to know if your opponent's just going to go command center first, or if he's going to 2-rack you, as you can see here. Yeah, 2-racks is pretty viable here. It's such a big map. Some people don't even drone scout. And especially if you're going to go hatch first, you have to have some kind of insurance policy. And that early drone scout is going to, you know, go down at a relatively early time here.
Should get it,
which may prepare Nestea for this.
Possibly, yeah. He'll need to scout down. It's in a slightly awkward spot, but actually, a drone going up the ramp there should be able to spot that, I would think. So I'm kind of surprised that Jjakji didn't put it even further down, but I guess not expecting a drone scout here. Let's see if Nestea catches it. We're about to find out. SCV scout now moves out, and Nestea has missed it.
Yeah, he's missed it indeed, but as soon as he goes in here, he's going to know exactly what's going on. He had a relatively early spawning pool at 15, so he's going to be able to save lava now, and immediately goes in and is like, oh, god damn it, and
What's he doing
pulls
now?
a drone to the natural, and is like, alright, where is that for an SCV? And starts growling and stuff,
Man
and he finds the
Nestea, get off my
SCV.
lawn.
Yeah, with a walking stick, and actually pulls the second drone too. And he's like, alright, this is the SCV that's going to try to build a bunker. There's actually another SCV coming, 4 SCVs in total coming across the map, but the, you know, Ling production's about to begin.
Yeah, and he didn't see where the barracks were, but he saw the Marines coming across, so he knows what's going on. And here he goes. The question is, will he be able to hold this 2-rack's pressure here, or will he end up losing that natural? We're about to find out. Drones now being pulled off the line. Gets the good surround here on the SCV. Can he do the damage required? No, because more SCVs come to buffer that. Nice repair job there by Jjakji. Good as new. And now Ling's on the way to deal with this. A lot of SCVs pulled off just to make this work.
Yeah, and there's a lot of drones here, and with all these links, he may be okay. He does not want to let any Marines run by, though. That's the scary thing, but look at that.
Yeah, really nice surround. Gets the SCV count down low, but the bunker does complete. He can actually stop the Marines getting in there, but he would lose a lot of drones to do it, and now they're inside. But what do we got? Well, we've got a spine crawler now, so this is the time for Nestea actually just to back off, in fact, but he just really wants this bunker dead. And he's going to make that happen now. The bunker at 50 HP, but doesn't quite have the DPS. He needs to bring down another one of those SCVs, so he'll have to wait for a few more links to make that happen.
Oh, yeah, but he's, you know, running out of time here because that bunker is repairing. There's more Marines coming as well.
Just a lot of drones as well.
10 links in production, which is going to be okay. The Queen goes down too, so that's 150 minerals down the drain. Oh, Nestea.
This is actually disastrous, if I'm totally honest. I mean, he's only got 10 drones left, and those SCVs aren't being picked off at all. I'm actually kind of surprised that that spine isn't in range of the SCV to the top, but evidently it's not. And Nestea continuing to collect lings, the expansion coming down behind this, so Jjakji not all in by any stretch of the imagination, and he's now going for it. And will he be able to get the surround that he actually needs? Jjakji definitely dances out of the way and is able to save a couple of Marines, and more links now coming in to finish this off, but this hatchery's at 300 HP, falling rapidly now. Will he be able to save it? Looks like he should. Although, I don't know, the extra reinforcements coming in here may prevent that from happening, and down it goes. Oh no, disastrous start here for Nestea. He's so far behind now.
Oh, Nestea. And all Jjakji's going to do now is pick up the 2 barracks and just wall in. And, you know, that's it. And now Nestea has to play from so far behind. He's making lings as well, you know, excess lings. So the spine crawler very shortly is going to be in trouble too, because, you know, the creep will reside. There's even Marines there. This is not looking good for Nestea, of course.
No, it really isn't, and Nestea losing to a 2-Rax would be, I mean, well executed 2-Rax, don't get me wrong, but still a damn 2-Rax is unpleasant to say the least, and Jjakji evidently had this completely planned out when he picked Talda and Malta, and these aggressive tactics seem to be working very well against Nestea, who is playing from way behind here. There is a possibility for a comeback, but there's going to be 4 racks down in a moment, and 2 orbital commands to back that up.
Yeah, all that we're going to see Jjakji do now is sit back and go for the killing blow, which will be, now he's got gas, he'll throw down a tech lab, reactor, and just go stim, combat shields, a lot of Marines, go kill Nestea. And that's the very standard follow-up here. He's actually even going to add a factory, so he's going to go for, you know, he could go for tanks, but he also could just go for medivacs, which would be the really killing blow. But Nestea's in a situation where we saw Jjakji previously, where, you know, it's Jjakji's now game to lose. And he's actually in a more dominant position, you could say, than Nestea was in the previous game. And this is, you know, almost impossible for Nestea to come back from. He's so far behind, but he's not just going to give up, because if he just types GG and leaves, that's it. 1 game away from just out of the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, he's not done yet, but he is playing from an incredibly difficult position here. He would need Jjakji to make a pretty big error, or he'd have to do something very risky, which is actually what I think he's trying to do right now, which is just to get another expansion down very, very fast. And then, of course, you're going to think, well, how does he defend it against the push, which, by the looks of it, will be coming in the next few minutes here from Jjakji.
Yeah, he's going to wait to stim. May not even wait for combat shields. There's maybe no even point here. He'll definitely wait for 2, maybe 3 tanks, and then just go. And, you know, the push will come within the next 3 minutes. And the question is, does that allow Nestea enough time to get his economy to a sustainable level where he can produce Ling Bailings? And, you know, he hasn't even got that Bailing nest down, which he may have to immediately do. But he hasn't got speed either, so, you know, he's just so far behind. And in these positions, Jjakji can just siege up under the natural and walk to the natural, and, you know, it's going to be such an unbreakable position for Nestea.
It's incredibly difficult, isn't it? We've even got Jjakji actually scouting for proxy hatcheries and just hidden bases as well, because in this position, that is the kind of risk that Nestea would most likely have to take. He's now starting to catch up, but he's doing so incredibly slowly, and it's not going to be helpful to him at all. He doesn't know how much is coming at him here. He knows about these 4 racks, but he doesn't know just how many Marines are behind it. He doesn't know if there are tanks behind it, which there are, and there's even a starport to back this up. Jjakji is in a very, very strong position at this stage. Nestea is going to have to show some of that trademark genius here.
Yeah, and, you know, speed is now finished. Bailing nest goes down. A scan as soon as the Bailing nest goes down inside the main base here. So, you know, Jjakji completely on top of everything. And even if Nestea was to get a good amount of Bailings, we're looking at 100 gas so far. So he's going to be able to stop morphing Bailings as soon as the Bailing nest finishes. But he's already coming. He sees. Jjakji knows.
Yeah, of course, he got the scan down. He knows the Bailing nest has only just started. He got a full scout up to that point with an SCV, so he knows there's no units. There's 6 Lings and a Spine Crawler and a couple of Queens to stop 38 Marines and 2 tanks, and that's not going to happen. It's going to come down, once again, to Banelings, and that's never a nice prospect against Jjakji.
Yeah, especially when there's 2 tanks on the high ground and will be underneath the natural. He sends a Ling and's like, suicidal Ling into the tank, but there's a 3rd tank on the way as well as the medivac now, and Nestea is on the back foot. He's actually expanding behind this more so for a macro hatch than anything. Spinecrawler positioned on the high ground as well to help out with the stuff on the lower ground, but still, you know, this is still, you know, a very difficult situation for Nestea, who only has, you know, a limited amount of Bailings. What's that, 9 in total? It's
not a lot,
that
man.
Many.
Especially against Jjakji, who continuously proves that he gets a split. Spinecrawler ripped apart, and this is so difficult. There's even bunkers coming down to funnel this stuff into the hot gates, where the numbers count for nothing, and Nestea gives it up right there, knowing there's no way out of that in a million years, and Jjakji executes an excellent 2 racks. It was indeed super effective.
And Jjakji takes an interesting turn in the series now. And, well, what can we really say? You know, he's 1 game away from winning. And interesting choice to cheese, again, 2 games in a row against Nestea. But Tal'Dorei Multi, does favor that 2-Rax, especially because it's pretty much 2-Rax is a recycled build that was so good against Hatch first because of the old change previously when the barracks took a shorter time to build, but throwing it in there every now and then against players at 100% Hatch firsting can get you free wins like this.
It certainly did the job for him, without question. You can't really argue with that. It was a nice win. Nestea was in as soon as he lost the hatch, Nestea was done for, essentially. Jjakji would have had to have blundered. And I do mean blundered. Not in the normal, oh, that was a blunder. As in, that was a colossal, cosmic blunder. That was, I accidentally tripped and fell into a quantum singularity blunder. And Nestea did not get that opportunity because Jjakji doesn't make those kind of mistakes.
Yeah, like the game on Jules' side, it was pretty much just over from the beginning. As soon as that worked and as soon as the hatch went down, you play way too far behind it, and there's no way really you can come back. There's that, 1% opportunity, but Nestea probably already knew that he was going to lose that game from the beginning there, but there's a lot of time there that he can just play out and start thinking about what to do in the next game, and just try it anyway. I mean, there's no reason not to try. What would be the argument? Just to rush to the next game doesn't make sense when you can sit back and kind of think about things.
Give it a try, yeah.
He has to think about things because, it's all, one game away from losing everything.
Absolutely. There's not a lot more you can say about that match, is there? It was short, it was to the point. By the time the hatch went down, it was pretty much GG lights out. We can't sit there saying that for 5 minutes. But, no, Nestea didn't have what it took to deal with that. And as soon as that drop started on the natural, as soon as we saw the tanks underneath, and even the bunker wall off to funnel the banelings in, as soon as Nestea saw that, it's like, ha! No, just done. I'm just going to the next game. You can have your 2-Rax. I'm going to have my map choice, and you ain't pulling that again.
It's pretty much like a 5-minute finish him move from Mortal Kombat. Like, Nestea's there, like, rolling backwards and forwards, and Jjakji's like, I will take 5 minutes because it's StarCraft 2, not a fighting game. And, once that delivering blow, he's like typing in the keyboard. He's like 1A, 2A, 3A, trying to get that special move to come out on the end. And, it ended up being 4-Rax and tanks with a single medivac.
4-Rax and tanks. Pretty much a babality as far as I'm concerned. Oh, that was dragged out and painful. Oh well. The next map is coming up, ladies and gentlemen. And if I recall correctly, this is once again a very interesting choice here from Nestea because he's actually gone for Metropolis.
Yeah, Metropolis, nice pick of map. It does, open itself up to Mutalist play once again if they do spawn close by air or so on. So we'll see how that goes down for Nestea.
Indeed we will. He's going to have to pull it back from this position, take it to a final game. Let's see if he can pull it off, folks. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. You are currently watching the IronSquid Round of 8, brought to you by Twitch TV, Astro Gaming, and Asus Republic of Gamers. Don't go anywhere. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the series between Nestea. He is in the red trunks, and he is playing Zerg to the north of the Metropolis. Versus his opponent, it's the one and only New Star Hoso's Jjakji. That name is so hard. A funny story for those guys that don't know. We did a lot of VOD recording for the group stages, right? So we recorded all of these VODs, and we sent them over to IronSquid for the post-production and all that good stuff. And the only ones that we constantly had problems with were Jjakji's, because I'd always screw the sodding name up, and we'd have to start again. Ugh.
Yeah. Just call him Jjakji Chan.
New Star Hoso's Jjakji Chan. He is in the blue trunks, playing Terran to the west.
And Metropolis, interesting map choice from Nestea. Whether it, be a strategy he has to use on this map specifically for Terran players, of course. Nestea living with a fantastic set of Terran players in that house. I'm happy, of course, and I'm MVP. Two of the headliners there. But
both of those
this is going to be an interesting, game for sure, because I'm interested to see why he did choose it. There is a big distance between the two bases in terms of walking distance.
Quick scout.
But then if you see the air by air, Mulus can, play quite nicely here.
Indeed. Very, very quick scout from both of these players, in fact, actually. And especially from Nestea. Does not want any kind of nonsense going on. He's going to be fortunate because he is in a nice position here where the Overlord's going to get in really early and get a full scout. He's going to have every possible idea of what's going on here. But oh, hello! Nestea. No! He's going the wrong way! There's a barracks down there, Nestea!
Shout at him some more, maybe he'll
Nestea!
listen.
Nestea! Ja Rule has built a barracks!
He did see the SUV though. That's the interesting thing. He saw the SUV with the Overlord and drone, so I don't know what he's doing unless
he's
he
not
thinks
responded
that
to
maybe he's scouting cross map. I mean, he has thrown down a spawning pool first though. That's the thing he did respond with.
Oh look, he's got it again.
Instead of hatchery first.
He's got it.
And now he sees it.
He's screwing with us,
He's not gonna make a mistake.
He's just doing this to make us feel bad. He's doing this to give us a heart attack.
Yeah, and the SUV's not even gonna finish the barracks. There's a second SUV coming to help out, but it will finish, but at the same time it's spawning pool first,
Lings
so there's already Lings coming. And this 2 racks is destined to fail, unfortunately, here for Jjakji.
What is with Jjakji and his cheese, man? Seriously, people were complaining about our lives all-ins recently, and Jjakji actually has just been all-in game after game after game in one way or another, either a cheese or an all-in.
Yeah, and this one's definitely not going to work. If, Nestea had gone hatchery first, it's that small opportunity, and it's not going to work. He immediately picks the barracks too, upon knowing this, and yeah, fail. And now he's just going to fall back on this command center. But the thing is, there's no bunkers or anything, so Nestea can actually just walk to the command center before this bunker even gets up here and do quite a bit of damage.
A nice leisurely jog across Metropolis, and unfortunately this barracks is going to take a while to get back in place. There's a couple of Marines coming back. The bunker, it's going to be very, very close one way or the other, and those Lings are coming in right now to exact vengeance once again, saying, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. But there are enough Marines there to make that a dicey prospect, and Nestea decides to back off there, but he must be feeling fairly good about that. But behind this, it's another double expand here from Jjakji.
Yeah, he's grabbed that early third command center. Playing towards the map, we do see a lot of third command centers here. It's a very easily defendable area.
Yes.
But Nestea's throwing down double gas at the same time. So he could actually go straight to speed. He could go for Roach Warren and anything of the sort here. So it looks like Nestea, because he already has a lot of Lings out, I guess he's maybe just making the best of what the current situation is. He's like, well, god damn it, I got 10 Lings out because of this 2 racks. Might as well use them for something, and that gas count, even the drone count has halted here, it will halt in a few seconds, I suppose. And let's see what options he takes. There's 100 gas, there's speed. Does he go straight for a Baneling Nest now? I guess that's the logical choice.
Well, straight up bust it. Well, it might work considering you've got a very, very low count of Marines for Jjakji, because of course he didn't get a lot of extra barracks down. This one only just got back. You've got no upgrades, you've got no reactors, no tech labs, and only 1 bunker. A bust could potentially work here, but Nestea's got the gas he needs to go for Baneling. if he wants to do
he's
it.
just waiting to line it up with speed. I mean, there's no reason to get it early and have it, maybe scouted or whatever.
Absolutely.
So I suppose there's a Ling production. So he's going to cut drones right at the correct amount, which is, 30 to 35. It really doesn't matter too much between that number. But the Ling count's coming up. Bale and Nest will follow down shortly here. And he's just going to bust straight for the front door. He's actually checking with a Ling on the natural and sees, oh, good, there's one bunker.
Yep.
There's not more. Good, there's no tanks on the higher ground yet or anything like that. But there will be soon. That's the big thing here. There's the tech lab on the factory. There's the, the first tank coming shortly. We even see another bunker coming down. There's an SCV checking. Oh, it sees no third base. And he's already smelling that something's wrong here. He's going to go to that. He's going to see the links.
Oh, there's no, he's not. No, he's not. He's driven away, actually, by a small number of speedlings, and that's only the amount that was on the field before. Does Jjakji think, oh, God, what's coming in here? So Siege Tech's about 60 in-game seconds from completing. Nestea could actually bust this before the Siege Tech comes out.
Oh, man, this is pretty sick.
Oh, good God.
Jjakji smelt something. He knows something's wrong here.
90. Oh, he's gonna find it, but it's not gonna help him all that much. What's he gonna do? He can't accelerate the siege tech. The banelings are on, but he's done this 20 of them already. Gets the surround of the bunker. The bunker doesn't even need to be busted at this stage. The lings are enough to take that down, and oh man, here comes Nestea up the ramp, and he's got no mercy for you, son. Not after that. Ah, the Elder Tolls. Here it comes, and more lings streaming in across the map here to absolutely ravage Jjakji. Will he be able to hold up against that? Nope. Absolutely not. There's the GG, and Jjakji punished hard for that 2-racks attempt.
And Nestea says, you cheese me, I cheese you, and takes the game on Metropolis, man. And he ain't messing around.
Oh,
Nestea
yeah.
gets aggravated like that when somebody does this consistently to him. And it's very similar to how, I saw him play IPL 4. And he was like, you cheese me, I cheese you. And, against his games against Squirtle. And Nestea firing back. And we're going to go the distance to the last game.
Star Wars The Told Republic is what Nestea's playing right now. And slapping Jjakji back down, saying, I'm old enough to be your father, damn it. I'm not going to mess... I'm not going to have any of this nonsense, these shenanigans, this tomfoolery. Absolutely not. Shuts that down completely with one of the biggest busts I've ever seen at that stage of the game. Jjakji did not stand a chance. And now, the series gets really tense, because we're down to one map. Oh, yes.
And that one map, because of the lead that Jjakji, staying, because of the cheese, is now his last map choice, having lost that last game. So he now gets to go to a go-to map of his, which, maybe Antigua Shipyard, every Terran player loves to do that. And he is going to have a slight edge, but it's still Nestea.
It is. It is Nestea. More to the point as well, did he keep his trump card till last? Because that's something we saw yesterday. Alive kept Antigua till last because he knows Alive doesn't lose on Antigua. Alive also talk in third person to emphasize just how little he lose on Antigua. So the question is, did Jjakji hold that map back? Was Tal'Darim his trump card? Well, the last map is actually gonna be Cloud Kingdom.
Ooh, nice choice here by Jjakji. Once again, does favor that third command center, that early third command center, and does favor that tank on the higher ground to protect the natural, the main, and even the third base to a certain extent. So probably going to see a more longer drawn-out game here by Jjakji, but nice map for the final game for sure.
Certainly, absolutely. And I hope to see straight-up play at this point, because Jjakji has now given away 2 maps as a result of deciding to go for not-so-great strategies. Honestly, the all-in on dual site, nope. And, of course, the attempted proxy 2-racks, also nope. Does he play straight up now against Nestea? And more to the point, can he actually handle it outside of a massive map like, say, Calm Before the Storm, where we saw him go straight up, but at the end of the day, there was no fighting until 10 minutes into the game there. Can he deal with Nestea on a smaller map? Can he deal with Nestea on a map that is so vulnerable to Ling run-bys?
Yeah, and even Roach Baneling plays is still viable here. I mean, the distances between natural to natural aren't that big, so definitely something that, he might consider here also.
Certainly a possibility. We'll find out very shortly, folks. A quick commercial break. You're currently watching IronSquid Round of 8, the absolutely thrilling series between Jjakji and Nestea down to this final map, brought to you by Twitch TV Astro Gaming. Of course, the one and only Asus Republic of Gamers. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this series between New Star host Jumanji. He is in the blue trunks and he is playing Terran to the northeast of Cloud Kingdom versus opponent. It is Nestea. He is in the red trunks, playing Zerg to the southwest.
And we've seen Jjakji just go for cheeses, game after game so far in this series. And this is some kind of map that will play towards a more straight-up style if he does decide to choose that, that third command center play. Very good here if defended on top with siege tanks, which he kind of tried to follow up with on the last map on Metropolis. But because they're going for that 2 racks and failing with it, that's a lot of time, money, and investment taken away from his actual core strategy there.
Definitely.
And if he doesn't, funk it up, mess it up at all, then he can obviously pull it off quite well here.
Yeah, let's see what's coming up from him. Well, he's building a supply depot on his base. That's entirely standard, but it's not indicative of anything. It feels to me at this point that Jjakji will play this last map straight up, because here's what I've noticed, right? He gets a map ahead, and then he does some funky all-in cheese thingy that fails. And then he gets a map ahead, and then he does the same thing. It's now down to 1 map. I expect Jjakji just to play straight up at this point.
Yeah, and the question is, will Nestea? Because Nestea obviously can, start the theory, a theory craft a little bit like we just did and say, well, he should be doing this on this map. And, like you always say, assumptions could kill Nestea.
Indeed.
But at the same time, if he's gonna, read his opponent correctly, he could make the correct decision here to do something against that, or whether he'll just play more straight up. One thing, though, I'm interested to see Nestea is, will he use Mulus? Mulus, again, against his style, are not so good. I mean, especially on Cloud Kingdom, where if they enter the main base, and if you get trapped, you are not leaving.
Yeah, there really isn't an easy way out, and this is the reason why, as I'm showing to the audience, look at how awkward this is. You've got barely any void space on the side. If you go out to the natural, you'll probably get slaughtered there. If you go to the other side, you can be intercepted on the third. Once you're in, you're not getting out. It's high risk, it's potentially high reward, because you can jump so quickly from the main to the third and back, because they're so close together, at least by air. But you lose your mutas, and what have you got? You've invested so much gas that has proved to be useless.
I'm really interested. Jjakji hasn't built a second marine and isn't going to lift the barracks to kill this overload. This isn't a killable location here, but
yeah.
He just wants to go for... because if you lift the barracks, you delay the reactor, you delay the reactor Hellion. So he just wants to go straight into it, and he isn't really worried about that overload whatsoever. So he's just going to forget about it. Marine is going all the way to the side of the map. Maybe you can try pick off a drone here or so, because sometimes against this kind of style where we see players go straight for Hellions, and like Nestea has scouted, players don't really build Lings. They just, because their Lings are going to die anyway. What are you really going to do with Lings? And, you know, that was something that Jjakji was trying to provoke, was to actually make Nestea build those Lings. But as we can see, that he hasn't.
No, he has not. In fact, he hasn't built a single Ling to date on this map up to this point. So an incredibly economically focused build here from Nestea. Jjakji also going for the command center.